A stunning new poll by the New York Times should be sending shockwaves through the Democratic Party, but thus far, many Democrats seemingly want to just bury their heads in the sand and hope that it's somehow all a mirage. It's not real. That enough voters will vote against Donald Trump. It shows President Joe Biden trailing Trump in the battleground states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania, and trailing by anywhere from 4 to 10 points. It seems there is deep discontent with Biden over the economy and also increasing doubts about his age. Now, whether you agree with the critiques or not, whether you think they're fair or not, I have questioned the left's resistance to even discussing the possibility of running someone other than Biden. I was even called racist for pointing out the unpopularity of Vice President Kamala Harris and how she'd become a liability for Biden politically. And according to this poll, she would lose to Trump in 6 out of the 6 instead of just 5. Now, I can't tell you the number of callers to my radio show today who wanted to just tell me about how we're 1 year out, that other candidates have trailed by this much at this point. I get it, excuses. And here's what I find so interesting about this new poll. It shows that, quote, in a hypothetical race without Mr. Biden, an unnamed generic Democrat leads Mr. Trump by 8 points, 48 to 40. So across the 6 battlegrounds, all of which Biden carried in 2020, he trails Trump by an average of 48 to 44. And yet an unnamed Democrat would lead Trump in those same states by double that margin. As it turns out, there is basically an unnamed, relatively no-name Democrat actually running for president. That's 3-term Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips, who recently announced he's running against Biden in the Democratic primary in New Hampshire, much to the chagrin of establishment Democrats who worry he could hurt Biden, even though all he does is talk about how awesome Biden is. In fact, Phillips doesn't seem to have a specific policy issue or disagreement with the sitting president. He's voted the Biden line in Congress basically 100% of the time. And even after announcing his run, Phillips wouldn't even admit that he's challenging the president.
I'm not running against Joe Biden. I'm not running against President Biden. I'm running for the future.
But mainstream Democrats just don't want to hear about it. They don't want to think about the poll. Kristal Knight joins us. She's a Democratic strategist and worked on the presidential campaigns of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. She is currently the host of the Kristal Knight Show for Newsweek. Thanks very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, what do you think I'm getting wrong here?
Well, I'm not sure that you're getting anything wrong, but what I do think that you're doing, you're not giving your viewers the full picture. And the full picture is, we are a full year out from the 2024 November election. A lot of things can change. And while the numbers in the poll are not, good news for Democrats, what it does tell you is that there's still room to make up. I know that you showed or that you shared that in some states, former President Trump is leading President Biden by 10 points. But if we look at these key swing states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, those states have a shorter margin for the president to make up, which is one of the big factors in the deciding vote for the 270 electoral votes that a president needs to get reelected. And so that's the nuance around the conversation that I think we need to have and hold and understand that while these numbers are what they are in November 2023, we still have plenty of time to make these numbers
up. That's all true. I think everything you said is true and entirely fair. But the hope that, they could change, they might change, we're hoping that they're going to change, when, according to this poll, a guy like Dean Phillips, who no one's ever heard of, could probably do better today. Why shouldn't more Democrats think about it? This is not supposed to be an endorsement of Dean Phillips. It could be whoever, but some relatively no-name Democrat who at least has some experience in politics or is really rich or something, where they could come in and immediately be ahead of Donald Trump by 8 points in the battleground states.
Well, I think it's all hypothetical, right? Like, these are hypotheticals that we really don't know until there's a named person.
All right, Dean Phillips. Dean Phillips. That's
I don't think that Dean Phillips has a chance.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.